NBA totals for Saturday, November 19th. We got 5 games on the card. We're going to dive right in. Don't forget to check out SBR, sportsbookreview.com. We got all the sportsbooks on there. Make sure you want to keep in tune with the numbers, with how they're moving, injuries, and things of that nature. But the odds and the numbers are there at SBR, all the sports books. Also, we got a ton of really good reviews about which sports books to sign up for, good sign-up bonuses, as well as sports books which to avoid, which I think is really a valuable, so that's some valuable knowledge that you need to know of which places to join and which not to. So be sure to check out SBR.com. Let's go ahead. Let's get into our NBA total segment. Again, we have our NCAA total segment as well. Be sure to check that out. Here we go. We got Boston versus Detroit. Odds makers have it at 200.5. I'm going to go under the total in this. Both teams are coming off a back-to-back. Boston, they're averaging 106.3 points per game. Detroit, 98.6. Detroit, though, defensively been great. And at home, they've been really good. Right now, they're allowing 96.9 points per game. That ranks 5th in the NBA. Boston's allowing about 106 points per game. But a couple statistics that I really like in this one is how they're limiting transition. You got Boston, they're ranked 3rd in the league in opponent fast break points, allowing under 10 per game. Detroit ranks 8th in that category, allowing about 11 points per game. So they're getting back in transition. They're not allowing easy buckets. That's good defense. Also, that coming off that back-to-back, I really don't feel like they're going to be really in tune offensively. Digging even deeper, you're talking about two teams defensively, percentage-wise, are solid. Boston, they're allowing a bit of tempo, but they're allowing opponents to shoot just 43.6% from the field. That ranks 8th in the NBA. Detroit, they're allowing opponents to shoot just 42.8%. That ranks 4th. So Stan Van Gundy does a nice job focusing on defense this year. And, until they get Reggie Jackson back, they just have to, circle the horses and play tough D. I think Boston, they're going to get better defensively as the season continues. They've been good. 47.4% on opponent 2-point shooting. That's solid. That ranks 6th in the league. And Detroit, they actually rank 3rd in that category. So 2 good defenses at the end. I think that's why the total is quite low at 200.5. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to back under the total, Boston and Detroit. We got Dallas, Orlando, the next one up. Odds makers have it at 183. That's really low, but I'm going to go ahead and take a shot here on the over. Right now, we got Dallas and Orlando. They rank second to last and last in scoring offense. Dallas at 93.7 per game. Orlando 92.3. Now, Dallas is coming off a back-to-back playing Memphis, and I think they're going to get up and down with Orlando tonight. So their attempts, they rank at about the middle of the league in field goal attempts per game. They've been shooting the dredge. They've been horrible. You got Orlando shooting just over 40%. That ranks last in the league. And then you got Dallas shooting about 42%. Again, second to last league. So that's the reason why the total's so low. But defensively, they haven't been that great either. You got Orlando allowing opponents to shoot over 45%, and you got Dallas allowing opponents to shoot over 46%. So defensively, they're not really there. Dallas ranks last in the league in opponent 3-point shooting percentage, allowing over 40% from distance. Orlando's not a really great 3-point shooting team, but they are shooting over 32%, which isn't completely horrible. Again, the pace, Dallas opponents allowed per game is really, really low. They're second in the league in that category, allowing just 78.8 attempts. But Orlando, they're allowing tempo over 83 attempts per game. So at the end, I think with Dallas coming off the back-to-back, I think they're going to go ahead and run. I think they're going to be able to score against these two subpar defenses. It's really surprising for Frank Vogel, and Rick Carlisle. They're just not playing great defense. I think the tempo is going to be there. I think they're going to be able to score. So I'm going to go over the 183. Next one, we got Charlotte and New Orleans. I'm going to go over the 205. One of my favorite coaches in the league here is Stephen Clifford. That guy does a nice job. Charlotte's averaging 105.5 points per game. New Orleans is getting up just over 100 points per game. A little bit surprising for an Alvin Gentry offense, but they're thin right now. They're relying a lot on the Brow. That's been their main offense, which is a pretty good option. New Orleans, but here's the guts of it. New Orleans, they're allowing 107.4 points per game. Charlotte's going to score, and they're going to score a lot. Charlotte, a little bit better. They're allowing just under 100 points. Well, a lot better, sorry. They're allowing just under 100 points per game. That ranks 8th in the NBA. Pretty good defense from Charlotte, but they're traveling to New Orleans. So I like New Orleans to go ahead and score tonight. More offensive statistics. You got New Orleans are getting up 86.6 attempts per game. Charlotte, they're allowing over 87 attempts per game. That ranks in the bottom third of the league. And then you got Charlotte getting up about 86 attempts per game, and then the guts of the play, really the guts of it. New Orleans is giving up almost 90 attempts per game. They're ranked 27th in the league in opponent attempts per game. So I think Charlotte's going to really go ahead and push tempo. New Orleans loves to run. I think they're going to go ahead and get out, and they're going to score a lot of points tonight. I think they're going to get well over that 205. Charlotte shooting 44% from the field. New Orleans not really that great, shooting 43%. But at the end, I think they're going to get over that 205 with the tempo and what they're each allowing, and they're going to run. I think shots are going to drop, and they're going to go ahead. Fast break points per game, not bad. Opponent fast break points, they're allowing teams to get into transition. So I think we're going to see over that 205. All right, next one, we got Minnesota and Memphis, 204.5. This was a hard one for me, because they've been under this total in their first two matchups. So that was way earlier in the year, and they go so slow for the most part. Memphis is coming off back-to-back, but I'm going to go and go over the 204.5 in this matchup. Minnesota, they're shooting lights out from distance, and they're averaging 108 points per game. Memphis is averaging 98.7 points per game. Memphis is allowing 102.4 points per game. I want to think Memphis defense, but David Fitzdale is kind of going a different direction. You know, they still should have a foundation on defense, but they're kind of getting out and scoring, and they're allowing opponents to get up and down the floor. I mean, right now they're allowing 16.6 opponent fast break points per game. That ranks third to last in the league. Minnesota is not very fast, but they got athletes. I think they're going to run. Minnesota, they're also allowing 104.3 points per game. So the fact that oddsmakers set this total so high at 204.5, when both these teams in the first two games stayed under this total, that kind of should tell you something as well. Very slow in opponent attempts per game. They're two of the slowest teams in the league as far as allowing those attempts. But I think shooting percentage-wise, both these teams are decent enough. You got Minnesota. They're shooting over 40% from three, like I mentioned. That ranks first in the league, and not bad overall. I mean, they're shooting over 46%. They rank fourth in the league in shooting percentage. So although the tempo's not great, their shooting is. Memphis, not great shooting at 43%, but they are at home. I expect them to score. So I'm going to go ahead and take a shot here at over the total between Minnesota and Memphis, 204.5. And the last game of the day, we got Chicago, and the Los Angeles Clippers, 203.5. Now, earlier in the season, I probably would have gone over the total, but the way these two teams are playing, and Chicago's actually playing some defense, which is shocking. Great for Hoiberg, but I think that's more because of the veterans they have, and those veterans know they got to play D in order to win. So I'm going to go under the total of 203.5. The Clippers, they're the best defense in the league, or one of the best. They didn't have a great night the other night versus Memphis, but still they're allowing just 93.8 points per game. Chicago, they're allowing 97.8 points per game. That's sixth in the league. Really surprising for Chicago. Tempo-wise, we got the Clippers. They're getting up 84.4, but they're allowing just 82.5. That's top 10. Chicago, still pretty fast. They want to get up and down. They're getting up almost 89 attempts per game, but I think the Clippers, being at home, will be able to mitigate that enough to keep us under the total. Both teams are shooting the ball pretty well. When we look at their overall statistics here, we got Chicago. They're shooting their 3-point shooting percentage is not bad. Overall shooting percentage for Chicago, not great. They're shooting 43.7%, but the Clippers are shooting 46.1%, which ranks in the top 10. Defensively, though, is solid. Chicago is allowing opponents to shoot just 44%. That ranks 10th in the league. Clippers, much, much better, allowing opponents to shoot just 41.5% in opponent shooting percentage. Clippers coming back, playing Sacramento also off a back-to-back. I don't think they're going to be as efficient scoring. I think more of a defensive grind. We're going to see more of a defensive grind in this game. That looks like a low total, but it's not. I'm going to go ahead and back under the total, 203.5. I mean, at the end of the day also, I've been saying that a lot in that video. Sorry. So many statistics, so much to go over. We got Chicago averaging 105 points per game. The Clippers are averaging 108.7, but odds makers have set this total at 203.5. I think there's a good reason for that. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to back under the total. A ton of more statistics here, but I'm going to go ahead and they both rank one last thing. They both rank in the top 10 in opponent fast break points, which is something that shows me that they're defending in transition. So at the end, not going to say that. Finally, we got under the total here with Chicago and the Clippers under the 203.5. All right, quick recap, long video. Boston, Detroit under the 200.5. Dallas, Orlando over the 183. Charlotte, New Orleans over the 205. Minnesota, Memphis over the 204.5. Chicago, Los Angeles, Clippers under the 203.5. Be sure to check out SBR All the reviews are there, all the lines, all the odds, all the numbers. Great write-ups and good stuff like that. And I wish you luck on your picks today.